Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into a guide to conflict resolution that's about 2,500 years old, but you know what? It is shockingly relevant for any team, family, or online group you're a part of right now. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the absolute foundation of any healthy group, motive. Then, we'll look at the ideal state we should all be aiming for. After that, we'll tackle the inevitable problem of disagreement with a pretty brilliant framework. Then we'll break down when and how to actually offer correction. And finally, we'll see how all this ancient wisdom fits into our lives today. Okay, let's jump right in. The entire teaching kicks off not with some big command, but with a question from the Buddha to his followers that is honestly surprisingly vulnerable. I mean, think about that. He opens himself up completely and asks them point blank, "Why do you think I'm doing this? Am I in it for myself?" That's a pretty radical act of transparency for any leader. He lists out all the usual suspects, right? All the typical self-interested reasons someone might lead a group: stuff, food, status, even a better deal in the afterlife. He's basically inviting his own community to check his power and question his real motives. And their answer? It's none of those things. They say his true motive is anukampa, a kind of deep, active compassion. He teaches simply to help people. So this sets up the core principle for everything that follows. A healthy group has to be built on a mission, or a leader with pure intentions. And this isn't just a nice idea, it creates what we'd now call psychological safety. It makes a space where everyone feels secure enough to actually learn and contribute without being afraid. All right, so once you've got that foundation of trust, the Buddha lays out a really clear and, frankly, inspiring goal for everyone in the group. Now, really pay attention to the language here. The goal isn't just to, tolerate each other or grudgingly get along. It's active unity. It's about actually delighting in each other's company and learning together in this state of productive, joyful harmony. That's the target. It's a pretty high bar. But let's be real. People are people, right? And no matter how good everyone's intentions are, disagreements are just going to happen. So the text gives us an incredibly practical way to handle them. And it all starts with this brilliant diagnostic tool. It's a simple question you can ask in pretty much any argument to get right to the heart of the matter. Okay, so this might be the most powerful tool in the whole teaching. It splits every dispute into two categories. Are you arguing about the atha, the essential meaning, the core idea itself, or are you arguing about the vijnana, the phrasing, the specific word someone used to say it? Just making that distinction is huge because it cuts right through our tendency to defend our own wording like it's the absolute truth. And get this, the Buddha's advice when you lay it out in a grid like this is amazingly consistent. Just look at the recommendation in every single one of these boxes. Don't argue. If the core meaning is actually different, you just acknowledge it respectfully and you move on. And if the core meaning is the same, you realize it's just an argument about words and you let it go. The teaching couldn't be clearer on this. The bottom line is to save your energy and your relationships for what really matters. Focus on the shared meaning, not on petty squabbles about semantics that just create division. So, we have a framework for ideas, but the text then moves into even trickier territory. I mean, it's one thing to argue about an idea, but what about someone's behavior? When should you actually step in and say something about a mistake? So, should you always call someone out? Well, the answer here isn't a simple yes or no. Instead, it's this really deep, thoughtful calculation about the potential outcome for everyone involved. Before you even think about opening your mouth, you're supposed to run through this mental checklist. And it's not a quick thing. First, you got to be honest with yourself about the other person. Are they even in a place to hear feedback right now? Then you check in with yourself. How is this going to affect you and them? Third, and this is a huge one, you have to ask with humility. Are you actually the right person to help them? Only after all of that do you weigh the final benefit. The whole point is to get past your own impulse and focus on one thing. Will my words actually be helpful? And this is probably the most challenging and honestly the most selfless part of the entire teaching. The ultimate priority is helping another person grow, even if the conversation is hard, even if it's uncomfortable for both of you. Their benefit is the goal, not your comfort. So what happens when you run through that whole calculation and you realize, you know what? I can't actually help here. Maybe they aren't ready to hear it, or maybe I'm just not the right person to say it.
Well, the advice then is to practice upekkha, or equanimity. It's that wise and compassionate choice to just step back, understanding that sometimes the most skillful thing you can do is nothing at all. So, let's bring this all home. After 2,500 years, what does this ancient guide actually mean for us in our modern offices, our families, and our, let's face it, endlessly argumentative online communities? Well, here are the core principles we've pulled out. Together, they form this incredibly powerful toolkit for improving communication and just reducing friction in any group you're a part of. It's really a complete system for a healthier, more productive, and more compassionate community. And that's our explainer. But I want to leave you with this final thought to take with you, a simple question that has the power to completely change the dynamic of your very next conversation. We hope you found this helpful.